What is going on, my New York Giants family, New York Giants friends? Hit Squad back at it with another video. I am joined by the family. We got Big Blue Corner, Giant Opinion Sports, NYG Jeffy T3285. What is going on, man? How are y'all feeling? And I know it was last minute, but I appreciate you guys stopping by.
What's
It's
good,
going
man?
it's going well, man. How you guys
Jeff,
doing?
how's it going, Jeff?
Doing good. How are you guys doing tonight?
Excellent, excellent.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it could be better. I mean, Jeff, you already know how I feel about with the Nets, and now we have this Kadarius Toney thing. So
Don't get me
I
started with them.
Oh no, and I'm not gonna lie. I know I said we'll do a separate segment, but we could definitely talk about that in this stream. I don't have a problem at all with it because the more I thought about it, I'm not gonna lie, the more it's upsetting me. But I'm glad that y'all are doing good. I see that we got some people in the chat. Lou, my brother. If you check Twitter, I did send a link. If you would like to join, man, I would absolutely love it, man. I know I haven't been able to join the streams recently because I've been busy, but I appreciate it. We got Oh yeah, shit. NYG Jeff, Kayla, Tudo, Jaden the champ. I appreciate you stopping by. Coach Ed, peace and blessings as always, man. I appreciate you guys stopping by. But we're gonna get into this, guys. As you guys could see with the caption of the video, yes, we are going to be talking about Kadarius Toney today. I'll be honest with y'all, and especially I'll be honest with y'all on the panel. Initially I wasn't too sure about even making a stream talking about this. I know GOS, Big Blue Corner. I spoke to y'all yesterday to see if y'all wanted to, go live today to talk about it. And then, I thought about it and I was like, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe it's just a smoke screen at the moment. I'm not really going to pay no mind into it. And then today comes and I start thinking about it more and more and more. And I'm like, you know what? I got to talk about it. I really have to talk about this with the Giants family. I want to hear everyone's thoughts about this. This will be a call-in show, so if you want to come on the panel and get your thoughts on this, let us know and we will drop the link. But you guys know that Pat Leonard broke the news stating that the New York Giants could be looking to shop their former first-round pick Kadarius Toney. Now, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, and then I'm gonna pass it to Jeff, and then we can go from there. I don't I can't trade this guy. I'm gonna just be honest. The kid hasn't done anything. In my mind, that says, okay, we got to get rid of him. I don't see him as a locker room issue. Does he have a little bit of an injury concern? Sure, but I think that when healthy, man, I mean, this kid is just such an electric player. I think that he's going to be a focal point in this offense. You heard Joe Shane talk about him at the combine 7 weeks ago, saying that he's a valuable piece to this team. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts, man? Because I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to pay too much mind into this, but it does make you think. Are there truth to the rumors?
I mean, just to state with this whole Kadarius Toney thing starting off. I mean, there was a report that just came out today that apparently he's been on the trade block for at least about a month. So maybe that has something to do with why he's been away. Maybe there's just something we don't know about what's going on with him behind the scenes. But I thought the one thing that was very telling with this whole situation was not only what Joe Shane said in his press conference on Wednesday, but what Kenny Galladay said and what he says that he was expecting everybody to be there, and that's pretty much was like a direct shot at Kadarius Toney, wondering why he was not, even though it's not a mandatory practice, it is voluntary, but at the same time, you're trying to leave a good mark on the new regime. And they would want pretty much everybody to be there, get an early grasp on the playbook and everything. So, especially with a guy that, yeah, he's got a lot of upside, he's got a lot of talent, but at the same time, he's only really had a game and a half, 2 games of real proof in the NFL. And he has had a couple, there hasn't really been any incidents with him at all off the field, but he has had a little bit of things going on, so it's just a really big it's a really big question mark right now to go on with Toney. And I mean, maybe he's just maybe they're thinking that this kid just isn't a long-term fit with this team because they might think he has some type of attitude issues. Maybe his skill set doesn't completely fit him, which I mean, I don't know how he wouldn't, but maybe Dable and Cavendish just don't think his skill set completely fits him with the image that they're trying to throw out there moving forward. So there's really we don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes with Kadarius Toney. If this is just a smokescreen, if this is something that could be legit, what would you get for Kadarius Toney if you were willing to trade him? And I mean, this draft class is rich with a lot of wide receiver talent. And at the same time, you have to think about it too. Joe Shane, Brian Daboll, they have no connections with Kadarius Toney. He is not a Joe Shane pick. He's a Dave Gettleman pick. A lot of people were questioning this pick to begin with. So if you can get any type of worth, if you don't think this kid is going to be part of the future, and you think you could get somebody that fits the system better, could be healthier, and is a maybe a higher upside that's more polished at the wide receiver position, maybe you take a chance on just like getting maybe a second or third round pick for this guy. So it's really a fluid situation right now with Kadarius Toney, and we just have to wait and see as the draft gets closer what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, and you make a very good point there. And look, I mean, while Shane wasn't the guy that selected Kadarius Toney, I mean, one would make the argument that it was Judge, another would make the argument that it was Gettleman. I just think that this is a very talented player. And look, I'll just say this much. I think that some Giants fans, they're very used to the button up kind of a player, doesn't really talk back, almost doesn't have a personality. And I mean, I get that, but it just seemed that from the start, this guy rubbed some Giants fans the wrong way. And personally, I didn't understand it. I like the attitude of this kid. I like that, he has a little bit of grit to him, and I think that, he's a player that I'm not going to say he's untradeable, but I would just think it's not wise to move off of him, in my opinion.
I mean, for me, I said it on the previous stream that me and you were on. Look, would I have liked to see him there? Yes, only for the simple fact that it's a new organization in itself, in the sense of new GM, new coach, new offensive coordinator. Would I have liked to see him there to be able to have some sort of build a rapport with the new guys? Yes, definitely. But it's voluntary, and I get that a lot of people have an issue with that, but it's voluntary. You know, if he misses mandatory mini camp and stuff like at the beginning of the season, that's one thing. Then I can understand the slander. I can understand the hate. I can understand fans, making a big deal. But as of right now, it's voluntary. I get that, the fans are upset. I can understand that 100%. Look, we want to be able to see the Giants literally do a 180 from what we've seen for the last 2 years. We want that. But literally going after the kid for what reason? Just not showing, for he's not them not being at voluntary training. I mean, come on now. I just think it's being blown up just a little bit out of proportion. Again, I'm on the sense of yes, she should have been there, but only because it's a new system and you want to be able to get acclimated as quickly as possible. You know, Dable said that, because he wasn't there, he didn't get the playbook. That's my issue right there. That's my biggest issue. I wanted him to go to be able to get build a rapport, get acclimated, and get that playbook so you can get it in your mind early. Other than that, what else? What's the point of getting upset?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I don't understand. It would be one thing if this is a guy that has character issues off of the field. He has allegations, or he's beaten his wife, or a DUI. This kid hasn't done anything. I mean, it's voluntary. And look, I know some people will say, because I know we were talking about it yesterday on the Hub stream. Shout out to the Hub, by the way. But we were talking about it, because I said, I wouldn't show up, if I was, on a vacation time or an off day and it wasn't required for me. But if I see that I'm the only one there out of everyone in my job, the next time that it, comes, maybe I would show up. But I'm not making a big deal of it. I don't think that this is a player that Giants fans should worry about in terms of him balling on the field. And before I pass it to you, GOS, I will say this much because I see some fans talking about this. I know that it was reported that he apparently was struggling to learn the playbook at certain points in the season last year. Can I just say it didn't look like that to me? it really didn't look like that to me because it took until the Dallas game for us to really realize the talent of this kid, and he did that mostly with Mike Lennon. So I just don't understand why a lot of people are making a big deal out of this.
What's
My
going
exact my
Oh
exact
man,
feelings towards
we
this.
went,
on? Remove this story from the atmosphere, and what else are we talking about right now?
Not a damn thing.
It's true.
Maybe
Exactly.
maybe
Draft.
the maybe yeah, I was about to say maybe the draft again,
Yeah.
but how many videos we gonna do talking about the
Well,
draft, man?
people done got worn out on that 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I really just think this is a whole big nothing burger. I mean, I'm ready to wake up. I just woke up, ready to go back to sleep. This is a whole lot of nothing to me. Now, when something happens off the field, then I think we can start to have conversations like this. But yeah, right now I'm just a little sleepy. He's an odd kid. I do get why some people don't like him. He's not, you know, he don't and it don't seem like he understands the whole media thing and enjoys doing it. So he just seems like a real dude to me. And as long as
Hmm.
there's no off the field stuff, right now I don't really see any kind of draft pick you get to be worth moving on from him. Because I mean, you got a very talented player here for the next 4 years, dirt cheap. So unless you're going to get another late first round pick or something for him, or an early second round pick, I don't see the sense in moving him. And right now, as for taking phone calls, I'd imagine this is a new GM. He's going to take phone calls. He's going to pick up the phone for any player on the team.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I would I think it's highly questionable these reports that are coming out. They're shopping him or anything similar to that. I don't believe it unless there's stuff behind the scenes. So and we're not
Yeah.
privy to that. So what? Just I mean, it's all speculation. No sense in going off about it.
No, and you're absolutely right. And high key, I was saying this yesterday where at first when I saw the reports and I saw who it was coming from, I rolled my eyes because I have little to no respect for Pat Leonard. I just
Nobody
don't like the
does.
guy. I think that a lot of fans don't like the guy, and I think that he's aware that a lot of fans don't like the guy. Now,
Mhm.
in,
he
in
broke it
his
on TikTok for Christ's sake.
yeah, he posted it on TikTok. I mean, for
Really?
that much,
Who
and
does that?
yeah,
Pat Leonard,
exactly.
that's who.
And look, I'm gonna say this much. Yeah, I know that he was ahead of the Logan Ryan situation, but he's definitely been wrong about a couple things as well. So it's like for me, I'm not really thinking much of it. It's another story, and like you say, GOS. I mean, what else would we be talking about right now if this wasn't happening? You know, and so I'm really not trying to put too much weight into it. Now, are there truth to the rumors? I mean, you saw little, I guess you could call them Easter eggs, in the different interview videos that the Giants released. Kenny Galladay talking about, how him and Tony really haven't been talking that much. He hasn't spoken to him in a while. And, he felt that it was important to be there. Then you have, Dable talking about he wants guys that are self motivated, that put in the hard work and that want to be there. So, it just seemed that the common theme was talking about players that want to be there. And some people are saying that those are shots at Tony. I'm not, at the moment, at least, I'm not really putting the two together because Shane also came out and said that, he's been in contact with Tony. So I'm really not trying to make a bigger deal than what it already is at the moment because I see some fans that are rejoicing, which doesn't make sense to me at all. We could always talk about that at some point. And then you have some fans that are acting like the sky is falling. And I don't understand that either. So, I mean, this is the off season. Things like this are going to happen. I mean, especially when you have a guy like Pat Leonard who always likes to stir the pot and create drama for clicks. I mean, and honestly, man, I hate it. I hate it because it reminds me of the OBJ situation. I don't think they're the same kind of a person, let alone player at all. But I would hate for the New York Giants to potentially lose out on a player that's very talented due to him having maybe a personality that they don't like or a way to go about things that they don't like. Because I mean, you're also hearing that some people in the front office are turned off by Kayvon Thibodeau. And I don't understand
Mhm.
that either. You already know the guy's gonna ball, so like I just don't understand it. And look, I mean, we don't know what's really going on. We're not in the front office, we're not there. But to me, same thing like with UGOS. To me, it just seems like a crock of shit. Excuse my language. So I'm not really buying into it. I'm taking it for what it is. But until we see some action happening, I'm not going to put too much thought in it. Now, maybe that changes with the draft, and I definitely want to talk about this, DMAC. Um, he says, if we trade Kadarius Toney, did we go wide receiver early? Um, I'll be honest with y'all, and then I'll pass it to you guys. Uh, I've been saying, for the longest, I thought in the third round we would double up with tight end. Then I leaned more towards maybe picking up a receiver and a tight end. Now, if you trade Tony, I mean, I'll be honest with you. From my standpoint at the moment, where I think within the first 3 rounds we go wide receiver, if we trade Tony, I think that could be as early as the first 2 rounds, especially if a Burks is there at 36. So, I mean, do y'all see that happening? I mean, because I think honestly, I'm gonna be real. I think we do leave this draft with the receiver. It just depends on how early it is, whether that's the third or fourth round. But I think if we do trade him, I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that even in a trade back scenario, that they wouldn't consider one of these receivers.
I mean, okay, can you? Is it out of the way of saying, you know what? If we do trade KT, which I don't see us doing, and I mean, we did all that last year to get Kadarius Toney and get additional picks just to pick another wide receiver after
Yep.
picking one last year. That doesn't make sense to me. But even if that was the case, I think if you don't get a jump on doing it early, like maybe with the first round pick, then you got to do it with at least the second round pick. Can you get away with maybe waiting until the third round? Maybe because hey, maybe Alec Pierce drops down, other good wide receivers. But if it depends on how much they value that position. If they think that that position, as of right now, based on what our wide receiver room looks like, do they say, you know what, let's pull the trigger and go for a Garrett Wilson or a Jamison Williams, a Drake London first round, or wait till the second round and maybe pick up Jahan Dotson or maybe Traylon Burks if he drops out of the first into the second. It all depends on where they value the wide receiver, what pick they would value him at.
Yep.
If you're not sold on getting in one in the first because you want to address the glaring needs, then you wait to the second. And if you want to wait, I mean, could you not say waste? Could you use the second round pick to get the wide receiver? Because guess what? You have 2/3, you got a fourth and 2/5. So at least you didn't want to have to use it on a wide receiver if you didn't have to this draft. But guess what? If you trade Kadarius Toney, you may not have a choice unless you can pick one up as a undrafted free agent or be able to make some sort of trade, you know, before the draft or during draft night. So everything it all depends on how they view the wide receiver position and what the value is.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. I mean, I also think that when you look at some of these teams that may be needing a wide receiver in the draft, I mean, especially you look at San Francisco, if they trade Debo, they may look to get a wide receiver in this draft. Or you look at, a team like possibly the Titans, let's say hypothetically, them and
Kansas City.
AJ Brown. Kansas City is another one. Green Bay is another one. So
Hmm.
it's like there's going to be teams that need wide receivers, and I mean, kind of like what we saw with the tight ends in the draft that we selected Evan Ingram. When one goes, it seems that a lot of them start going. So, do we see that happen before we even get to 36? I mean,
But I
I
mean,
think it's possible.
you also have to think about too, and while I agree with you, Rodney, it might not be as important of a position right now, but at the same time, you got to think not just 2022, but after that, because you always want to try to replenish the position, not knowing who's actually going to be on the roster after the season. And you got to think about the wide receiver room right now we currently have. That's including Kadarius Toney. Who's actually going to be on this team in 2023? Is Kenny Galladay going to be here? He could be cut next year and save a lot of cap room. Is Sterling Shepard going to be here? He's a free agent. He could walk. Darius Slayton, another guy. He might not even make the roster this year. Tony's a guy, if he's having issues back with the coaching staff and the front office right now, Who says he's even on this team this year or even next year? So you got to think about not just 2022, but the year after. Because remember, and this is the thing that a lot of fans have got to realize: none of these guys have any ties to Joe Shane, to Brian Dable, or this current regime at all. So they're thinking about not just 2022, but the future as well. And if you're going to think that Daniel Jones isn't going to be the guy, or if Daniel Jones is the guy potentially, you got to think about getting him a number one receiver, not just for this year, but after, because maybe they don't think that Kenny Galladay is the number one receiver after 2022. Maybe they don't think Kadarius Toney is a number one receiver, so they want to set him up with a guy that's going to be here with a lot of upside, that's a polished guy. You draft him early, and you have that number one receiver to help out either Daniel Jones or your future quarterback, because you gotta think about just not only the current year that we're going into, but you got to think about the future as well, because you always want to replenish that position, and get a rookie acclimated, and then also get him ready for the following season. So that's just got to be the thinking when it comes to stuff too. Is just the wide receiver position, not just 2022, but after that. That's excluding Kadarius Toney, or if he's still on the team, come like the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and you make a very good point. And honestly, I'll say this much, right? At the end of the day, Joe Shane is just doing his job, and his job is to make this team better and put this team in the right position to win. And I mean, while I might be a little frustrated at first, if we trade Kadarius Tony, which again I don't see it happening, but if we do, I mean, I'm gonna trust, that Shane and Dable know what they're doing, and I'm gonna give this regime a chance. I mean, I think that we have to be patient with this regime, and I mean, I know that some Bills fans will mention that when Brandon Bean got there. While they were traded in the preseason, Bean traded Sammy Watkins and Ronald Darby,
Mm-hmm.
and those were two, they were pretty good, if not average players at that time, and they went and they won Super Bowls with their respected teams. But at the same time, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's a bad thing that they're taking calls or they're listening to offers. I don't think that Shane was lying in that respect, because that's his job. That's his job. And if a team offers you a good enough package for a player, I mean, it's going to be hard to say no to that. I mean, I again, I wouldn't trade this kid, but I'm not gonna get on them or, you know, uh, say that we should fire Joe Shane or anything like that. That like some fans may if we trade this kid.
That's ridiculous. And just to say it real quick, I'm not advocating trade Kadarius Toney. I would love him to be on the team. But if they end up trading him because they believe a wide receiver in this draft has more upside, is more polished, and is going to work better with the regime and the coaching staff, then you got to trust Joe Shane that he knows what he's doing.
Absolutely, and I mean, and we'll definitely see. Because I mean, I'll be honest with you. you, I think that if you do trade this kid, you got to go wide receiver early because I know that we got, who was it from the 49ers in free
Richie
agency?
James.
Yeah,
Richie
Richie
James, yeah.
James. I mean, you still have, Kenny Galladay. You still have Darius Slayton. I mean, Shepard's coming off of the
Robert
Achilles.
Foster.
Robert Foster
Mm-hmm.
as well. But I mean,
David Sills,
outside at David
We
Sills, I
got a
mean,
lot of receivers.
but
yeah.
I mean, really, I'm gonna be honest with you. Outside of Galladay, I'm not really banking on any of those receivers in a way that I'm banking on Kadarius Tony. So I
I'm
mean,
not
I
even
feel like
banking
they
on
would
Galladay
have
and
to.
Tony.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm banking on Tony the most if we're looking at the wide receiver room. It's gonna come down to his health, but I just really think that this kid is due for a solid year. And I still think that they should at least pick up a receiver in this draft. If you want to get this kid some weapons and see what you have. On top of that, if it doesn't even work out with them, you bring in your next quarterback with weapons because we don't even know if Galladay is going to be here next year. So I mean, I think that there's
It's
pros and
true.
cons to the situation, but at the same time, I mean, you look at how electric this kid is. I mean, a lot of people point to, the Saints game, they point to the Dallas game. I mean, one of the games I look at personally is, that first drive against the Rams. I mean, kid looked electric. He was creating space. I mean, I just think that, he's a special player. Now, look, I mean, do I want my players to be practicing in someone's backyard on a jug machine? But I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't, because I know that when it comes game time, that this kid is gonna ball.
I mean, you gotta. Well, you know what? Highlight G Nation at 6:58 and 59. You
Yeah,
know,
I got you. I'm a little behind, but I got you.
he said, KT not committed, and that's what I've been seeing a lot on Twitter. You know, everybody's pretty much saying that he's not committed. He doesn't really feel like playing for the Giants, being in New York, whatever the case may be. Look, these Joe Shane, Dable, they're in contact with Kadarius Toney. So we don't know what the conversation is. We don't know what they're talking about, what they're discussing. We have no idea. We can only speculate, and even that's a stretch because again, we don't know. The thing is, I guess everybody is looking at how and what he did last year and taking into consideration, you know what, this is what he's doing this year, and everything seems to line up. He missed, I guess time in training camp for a number of reasons. I know one of them was a serious situation. He lost his grandmother. The second one, he was out there running drills in his bare feet because I guess they didn't have his right cleat size.
The cleat size, yeah.
So
Mhm.
plus I'm under this. I think he did get COVID as well. So I
Also,
might
his
be.
agent. Remember, his agent told him he didn't want to be there without under contract or something like that,
Yep.
just in
Yeah,
case he
maybe
got
that.
hurt.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
but do you want your player to play without a contract?
Yeah,
I
I don't
guess
think
there's clauses for that, but yeah, I don't think it's a good idea.
I
Yeah, I
don't think
mean,
I
I don't
don't
see a
think he
problem
signed a
there.
contract at the time. And all that's everything, all that is pretty much, you know, call it for what you want. It is what it is. So my thing is, as I said, would I have liked to see him there? Yes, for my own personal reasons, as far as showing that he's ready to start fresh and new with this new regime. And the other thing that I'm really not, really understanding is that, okay, what if Kenny Galladay or anybody else would have been there, because it has been reported that a lot of these guys get workout bonuses. So that's even more of a plus for you to be there just so you can get that bonus. So are you really there for the team, or are you really there to get that bonus? You know what I mean? So again, it's a fans are going to question whether or not Kadarius Toney is truly committed if he wants to be here. We just have to wait and see what he does at the start of minicamp. Is he going to be there? Is he going to show up? Because one way or the other, if they decide to trade him, either before the draft or on draft night, the wide receiver position is something that we're going to literally have to address. Whether it's early or later, we're going to have to address it at some point. I don't see the reason as far as why they would trade him, because the kid's electric. You saw
Yep.
what he can do, but the level of commitment has to be there, and we expect that we expect that as fans to be able to make sure, to know that the players that are on this team are committed. They're committed to winning. They're committed to getting better.
Yep.
Well, he's a wide receiver, number one. He's not a quarterback. There's not. I mean, wide receivers run 7, 8 routes. That's it. They don't have complex, blocking designs for. This is not a quarterback. This is not Daniel Jones missing camp here. As long as he's staying in shape and working out, I don't see a problem with it. He is not an offensive lineman. He's not a defensive lineman. There's no. It's
And
not
when
brain surgery here. We're talking about what Kadarius Toney needs to learn. And last year he showed up every time he was supposed to. So who knows whether he's committed or not? We don't know his live, but I mean that's just a complete guess. If you want to believe that, that's fine. But I mean, what are you holding on to believe that? So
I mean,
whatever.
I'm gonna say
Each
this
their
much.
own.
I'll I'll start freaking out where it becomes mandatory and he doesn't show up. But for now, it is voluntary. I just want to say what's going on with the chat, because I see we got some new people here as well. I also want to say what is going on, JLA90. I
Hey,
appreciate you
Ray.
stopping by, man. What's
What up,
good,
Jay?
brother? How are you?
What's up, man? It's my first time in your chat. Hit squad. Good to be
Yes,
here.
sir. Likewise, bro. I'm glad you could stop by, dog. But
Yeah, man.
I was just gonna ask, what are your thoughts on this, KT situation?
I think it's bullshit. If I can cuss, I'm sorry, but
Oh no, you good? I'm not monetized. You good?
yeah,
Not yet.
I think it's
Not
I
yet.
think I think it's BS. I think that the kid is voluntary. I mean, yes, I guess if you want to see somebody put your best foot forward, but like everybody else was saying, we don't know what's going on with him. We don't know what's going on in his personal life. Like you said, his grandmother passed or something like that. I mean, and even if not, he doesn't have to be there. Now, the first day of mandatory, if he's not there and he's talking about a contract or talking about anything except for let's play, then get him the fuck out of here because these new dudes, these new younger cats, they are pretty. They always feel super entitled, which you should stand on your own, but you still need to show up so can't nobody talk bad about you. But there's nothing else to talk about, so we're talking about one guy not showing up to voluntary minicamp.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they played some 7-on-7s. They got the playbook. Um, I mean, but again, at the same time, Shane is in contact with this kid. I mean, and he doesn't seem to be making again a big deal out of this. I know you're gonna look. A lot of people are gonna look at these rumors and say that Shane is openly shopping this guy, which I mean to a degree, sure. But I mean, I think listening and actively shopping are completely two different things. And at least to me, it is.
Yeah,
I think you should listen, on all of your players, especially since, you're a new regime. You have no ties to any of these players. I mean, while they went out of their way, and they called Saquon Barkley and said, we're not going to shop you. They didn't have to do that.
yeah,
They didn't have to do that. They could have just traded him off rip and not say anything to the
nothing.
guy, because they don't owe him that. They don't owe any of these players that. And again, once it starts becoming mandatory, where you have to be there and money starts getting taken out of your check, I'm gonna have an issue with that because then I'm gonna
Mhm.
start questioning, how committed you are to the team at that point. You know,
Yeah,
and I said this on the last stream, and I'm gonna still stick with it. My eyebrow, yeah, it did get raised a little bit, but I didn't really have any thoughts on it. It was just like oh, okay, and I just kept it moving.
yeah,
Just because right now, I mean, we're not the only team where we have, a new regime coming in and there's players not coming in on voluntary camps. It happens, but unfortunately, we're in a dead time and there's not really much to talk about outside of the draft, which will be here in 7 days, but
yeah.
or 5 days. My fault, my bad. Um, but I mean, hey, look, all I gotta say is, man, I mean, you give this kid the rock, you already know what he could do with the ball. Now let's see him with the competent offensive play caller in an in a modern offense. I think that we got a special kid there. But I mean, let me ask y'all hypothetically. I mean, what would it take, for you to say, all right, I can move off of this kid, knowing what you got in the player, or at least at the moment.
Uh, I mean, nothing. I mean, I wouldn't trade him. I mean, what would be the benefit of trading him? I mean, another first round pick, but I mean, he's not going to be. I don't know. I just don't see oh, he missed voluntary camp, so trade him. So are you saying every year if a guy misses voluntary and he doesn't have if he doesn't come out with a spiel about it that he needs to be traded? Like that doesn't make any sense. We're trying to build a team, not tear it down.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some people float around the idea of a second. I mean, I don't think you get a first for the kid. If it is a
Exactly.
first, I feel like you got to package Tony and a pick for that first. You know,
Exactly.
and it wouldn't make sense to me. And I had joked yesterday about it where I said, how many videos are we going to see of KT for Debo? It's not
I
going to
don't
happen.
get that.
Already out
What?
It's not going to happen.
Just
It's
there.
stop.
You
not.
already, I already seen the tweets.
Yeah,
Already.
Yeah, just
exactly.
stop.
It doesn't make sense. We ain't got the damn money for it. Like,
How
please.
the hell are you going to pay Devo Samuel when you're already paying Kenny Galladay big money and we
And if
got
you can,
no cap space? It's
We
not
have the most
happening.
Jeff. We have the most expensive wide receiver room in the NFL right now.
And what has that gotten us so
yeah,
Not
well,
a
far?
damn thing. I
Exactly.
mean, it's just look, man.
I
I
think
think
we
that
keep
this
him
kid could be
and
special.
I think we keep him and still get a wide receiver. I mean, we still need people to throw.
Thank you. You thinking exactly like me, Jay, because I think
I
that we
agree,
should get
Jay.
a wide receiver in this draft. Again, it's just how early. I think if he gets
Yeah,
traded, you first 2 rounds. But if he stays on the team, which I think he will, I think at least the first 3 rounds, if not the latest, the 4th round.
Man,
In my
I-
opinion, at least.
I gotta think.
Watson or a Alec Pierce or something.
Do you think they go wide receiver early because they don't know? Because I think a lot of it, if they go the earlier they go wide receiver, might have to depend on Shepard's availability at the beginning of the season. Because I think if he's going to be ready, I think they might go wide receiver a little later because they figured we got Toney if he's here, you got Shepard, you got Galladay. But if Shepard is going to be missing a little bit of time during the beginning of the season, then they might go wide receiver earlier on. So at least they can fill that position right there. So that could have something to do with it too. What's going to be the availability of Shep going at the beginning of the season?
Well, I've read Shep's going to be. He's expected to start right off rip week 1. So
I read
that's
that
the
too.
expectations.
I mean, that would be incredible because I believe he went through that ACL towards the later half of the season.
Yeah, Shane said that he expects him to be there at our training camp.
I mean, that's incredible, especially at his age and where he's at right now in his career for him to come back that early.
Hey, I got a question a question for my brother G Nation in the chat. What's going on, bro? First of all, but you said he's arrogant. What has he done to be arrogant? I mean, what, he doesn't like the media? Nobody likes the media. I don't understand what he's done to be so arrogant. He hasn't said, I don't need to be there. He hasn't been like,
yeah. You want to ignore all my comments just so you can call in.
I never got that vibe.
Nah, I'm trying to get to these comments.
My comments, so now I'm gonna say it
No,
live.
What's going on,
Them motherfuckers an arrogant diva who ain't did shit to act like his shit don't stink.
But
Now, if you hold on, I'm gonna explain. If you was Jerry Rice, Chris Carter, Terrell Owens, one of them guys who's coming here and electrified the league for a whole season, game in, game out, amazing catch, amazing breakaway speed, amazing route running, amazing hands keeping them off you to go out there and get the ball at high pointed. You ain't did none of that shit. You haven't even played a full season, and you acting like your shit don't stink with your bull ring and your nose trying to shop your album. We don't need that shit here. We already had that with Odell Beckham.
See, we jaded.
Don't come in here. No, we're not jaded. We're not jaded. I've been watching this game my whole life. I've been playing this game my whole life. And I'm telling you, when a guy is not willing to give up some of his spare time to come in here and build chemistry with the team, put in the extra work, because we all know when you've been playing football your whole life, you play this game because you love it.
Yeah.
So you're not getting paid to play on Sunday. You getting paid to do the voluntary. You getting paid to come in here and practice throughout the week. That's what you're getting paid for. That's the work. The game is what you play. It's what you love. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't want to come in here and put in the work, meanwhile, your vets who coming off injuries is coming in here voluntary and putting in the work.
They also
what's Tony doing right now? What's Tony doing right now? You know what he's doing.
He's shopping his album. He's shopping his fucking
album.
Is
he? Is he?
Yes.
Or is he working? Is he running? Is he working or running?
No, that dude is shopping his album, bro. They seen him.
Hold on. Rub your crystal ball. Rub that crystal ball.
No crystal ball. I'm telling you, bro. Watch the dude be a problem. If they don't trade him, watch the dude be a problem.
Okay, so if he does well,
anybody could be a problem. We should trade everybody. Trade them all. They can all be a problem. They're all going to get hurt.
The team was a problem. That's why where we are now.
Trade them all.
But what I'm
trade them all.
Is, what I'm
they're all smoking crack
you don't want to show the commitment.
And
you don't want to put the team first. That says a lot about the character that you have. And when you're in the middle of a rebuild and people are taking contract restructures,
we're not in a rebuild. We're not in a rebuild.
What in the fuck are you smoking?
I'm not saying that.
Wait. Who's the massive players we cut this offseason? And who's all these new players we brought in? Where's this rebuild?
We are in a rebuild, sir. We have a whole new line for the second
time. That's news to me.
Okay, last year, who was our offensive
We got one new offensive. We got one new guard.
We got one new guard. Are you serious? We got Garcia. We got
if Gates wasn't hurt, he'd be center.
Listen, what I'm saying is we got a whole
Nation,
new
we bring in
line.
them kind of players every year.
We have a whole new offensive line. Okay.
We don't.
Well,
same left tackle, same left guard.
It's all right. I'm telling no. Same left tackle, same left guard. Do you think that Matt Pert is going to make it through the season?
I'm just saying.
Do you think
I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know.
I'm telling you.
But he's still here from last year.
From the original roster of our starting linemen last year, how many of them are still here?
This is the worst rebuild I ever seen, and the cheapest one I ever seen. That's for sure.
I think 2022. I think 2022 is an evaluation.
Fucked up our cap space.
Bro,
Then
we
get
gonna,
him
I
in
think
and Kevin Abrams
2022
for that.
we gonna make the kid.
I think
not even wanna be
2022
here.
is an
I don't want
evaluation
him to
year
be
for all
here.
these
If
guys.
he's
That's what I
acting like a
think.
diva already,
It's an
I'm
Yep.
not pushing it.
evaluation.
Because
Hold
he
on.
missed
You're right, Jesse.
voluntary. Because he missed
If
voluntary.
they suck again
No,
next
not
year, it'll
because
be a rebuild.
he
Hold on. Hold
not
on.
because he missed voluntary, but because
Hold
he's
on.
out shopping his album instead of being at voluntary.
Hold
That's
on.
why.
Hold on.
Mom
Look,
hit you up
I don't.
tomorrow, GD. She got to tell us what he's doing tomorrow too.
Hold on. Listen. I don't mind y'all talking. Just one mic,
One
y'all,
at a
because
time.
y'all be sounding.
Hey, bro.
I can't
Hey,
hear
listen.
the different points.
I
So
don't
just
say
one mic.
slick shit to people. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm connected in New York. And when people are telling me that this motherfucker's coming out the Sony building and shit like that, shopping his album, then that's not a crystal ball, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's
So
cool.
he's not allowed to live. Man can't even go to a mall. That's too much for Giants
Oh,
fans.
but-
Going to a mall.
but-
That's too
no, no,
much.
but they do the same shit. But they do the same shit when the player's a two-player athlete. He's playing baseball. He's playing football. Oh, which one is he committed to? But it's not okay to do it when you want to rap.
No, I
Like,
give
come
it.
on, bro. Let's
I
be
feel you,
100
G.
across the board. Let's be
I feel
100 across
you,
the board.
G.
I wear no mask and I don't have two face. I'm the same person everywhere I go. Period. You know what I'm saying? And I don't give a fuck and play favoritism for this guy or that guy. If you can't come in here and put in that blood, sweat, and work for the team, I don't need you. That's just my opinion. You can disagree. We can agree to disagree, and we
Let's
can keep
just
it
give
moving.
him-
But
let's
I
give
don't
him a
say slick
chance.
shit to you, bro.
Let's just give him a chance.
So give me
G.
the same respect, my G, because I don't have no crystal ball. But I don't say slick shit. So keep the slick shit to a minimum. Thank you.
Can I just say this, if it's all right? In terms of the rebuild, 2022, I think it's just an evaluation year for all these guys that are currently on the roster because of the cap hell that they have, and they want to figure out who on this roster could potentially be here after this year. But I think it will be a rebuild because a lot of these guys will probably not be on this team in 2023. And in terms of Kadarius Toney, we really don't know the full details with this guy behind the scenes. Do I think that these trade rumors are legit? Yes, I do. I do think that these trade rumors are legit, that there might be something going on behind the scenes with the kid that we as fans really just don't know completely. The kid is incredibly talented. He's gifted. He's got high upside. But I do agree with Lou. The guy hasn't really done a lot in this league to warrant like some of the things that these fans are getting. He's just starting, yes, but he hasn't done enough yet.
And
He's
don't
played
get me
one
wrong.
or two great
I made
games.
a video as soon as we signed him. I was excited as shit. I was happy that we got. I made a video. Tony. It feels good. I made a video, made an ass of myself because I like the kid. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like I don't hate on nobody, bro. I don't listen. I want to see all of these young players come out here and ball and make a living and make a name for themselves. So don't get me confused like I'm hating on the guy because I was excited as shit when we got him here.
Let's just give him a chance. Let's not make it to where he doesn't even like. It's like, oh damn, like because he's already young, and you got all these New York people, like all the media on him and on him and on him. Like that's already gonna fuck with a young kid's mental. Like, damn, just let him breathe.
The fans,
and part of it is the way he addresses the media. When he first came out,
well, he won't care because he's arrogant.
Him.
Apparently,
right?
He'll be fine about it. He'll be fine with it. He's arrogant, right?
I mean,
you saw the way he addressed the media. Yes, he's arrogant.
Well, I mean, he didn't want to be. He didn't understand it. Louis was confused. He didn't even understand it.
Okay, and that's what I was about to say. I understand how the media attacked him because that's how the New York media is, and he was in shock. You know what I'm saying? But even the second time when he came back after his PR people coached him up on how to stand at the podium and talk to them, he still was being arrogant, which is fine. When you that dude, be that fucking dude. So when you're that dude, be that dude. And I have no problem with your arrogance if you coming out here.
He's just there so we don't get
Carter
fined, bro.
Or Jerry
He's just
Rice.
there so we don't get fined.
No, that was Marshawn Lynch's line. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Y'all got 2 minutes to look at me.
That's what he was there for too.
Hey, but look, what I'm saying is though, just give the kid a chance. He's got to adjust to the shit. He probably from young dude from the hood in Florida. You see, he flashed on our boy and punched him. Yeah, he's young. Yeah, he makes some haste decision or he doesn't think things all the way through, I guess.
Well, shit, I've been guilty of that plenty of times in my life.
That's what I'm saying. So have some compassion for him and let him grow into this and let him meet the coaches because the last coaches he was there with was assholes.
Probably left a bad taste in his mouth. That is another side of the coin as well.
He's like, all right, I'm not gonna be there till I got to. We're gonna see how this is, and blase, which he should just be there.
That's a good point.
Head first.
That is a good point, Jay.
Let him go in there, and then once Dave's and showing, and he sees that they cracking jokes and it's cool, and they playing ping pong or grab ass, whatever the hell they doing, and then he gets a little bit more relaxed. You know what I'm saying? Instead of feeling like my coaches is on me making me run laps, and the media is talking shit, and then the fans are saying that I don't. You know what I'm saying? That'll get irritating after a while. And then you'd be like, fuck it, I don't even want to play no more.
All right, let me say this before I gotta go. Jay, you go point.
Yeah,
Jay, Lou, I'm gonna tell you like this. I love the rant, and you know what? You're absolutely right. You know what I mean? Look, we can say a lot as far as what we see as fans and what we expect from this team, because you know what?
Is this Rodney or Hit Squad?
No, this Rodney.
Okay, we don't sound the same at all.
You know what I'm saying? We spend a lot as far as buying the Giants, you know, jerseys, mouse pads, whatever you want to call it. We spend a lot. So we expect that what we expect as far as the Giants is concerned is for the team and everybody on the team to be committed to be out there with everybody else and do what's right. That's what we expect as fans.
Only point, and sorry to interrupt, my only point in that is there was rumors about him last year not wanting to study the playbook, not learning the playbook.
They're rumors. We don't know. The rumors. We don't know.
We don't know. So what I'm saying is, if that was a thing, don't you think you should be wanting to put that extra time in to learn it and get a leg up so when the season starts you can be that guy?
I mean, I think that's a good point there in that respect. You know, but we also don't know though, because I'll be honest with you. You know, when we saw him play in Dallas or in the Saints,
he lit it up.
Yeah, he lit that whole field up to where I was looking at Garrett and Judge like, the fuck
man,
is
y'all don't know how
about?
to use him, right?
Exactly,
right.
Yeah.
Because I said that a few times. I'm like, bro, they don't even know how to use this kid.
And that's the concern right there. Like, okay, as I said to you know before, I would have loved for him to be there so he can build some, you know, get acclimated with the system.
That's my whole point, because I know the kid is bad. You know what I'm saying? But
that's the only reason why I wanted him there.
Right.
To get the playbook, because he can't get it no other way. That's the only way. That's the way.
Well, they can send it to him. They got their little screen thing or whatever. They can send it to him.
They're not on the iPad.
Yeah, they all got a pad.
Is this Alex? That's Alex.
No, that's GOS.
GOS.
Okay. I'm like, I know the voice, but I don't know the voice.
He wasn't. But he's not. He had to be there at camp to get that playbook. He can't get it anywhere else. He can't.
And I mean, and he does have an attitude, but this may be corny. But to quote one of my favorite movies, Remember the Titans, attitude reflect leadership. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit!
That boy took it back.
He may have an attitude, but his blockers wasn't blocking, the quarterback wasn't quarterbacking, and the coaches wasn't coaching. So he trying to work on.
No, but you did make a good point earlier, Jay. Maybe last year's coaching staff and the way that whole shit played out left a bad taste in his mouth, and maybe he is thinking like, you know what? Let me see how this plays out before I give 100%. That could be a flip side of that coin too. So I didn't even think about that. So you did make a good point with that, because last year was a clusterfuck, a shit show. He got hurt because they didn't know how to use him. And, you know, he's probably thinking about his future and his health and that too. So, you know, yeah, but that was a good point.
Bro, if he's even late to the first day of mandatory, then it's a problem. But if you better be early, bro. You better
get his ass there early.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's got to look at it from this standpoint. Yeah, if last year left a bad taste in your mouth, you got to view this year new. You can't
start fresh.
You know what I'm saying?
Clean slate.
You can't do that. How is it that, okay, you know what, me and D got beef? You know what I'm saying? And that goes back years. But I'm still holding on to that, even though we've grown and, you know what I'm saying, and so much has changed. I got to look at Lou now. I can't look at Lou or anybody else how I looked at him years ago. So you got to be able to sit there and get all that nonsense out of your mindset and view it as, you know what, I need to start now. This is new. I need to get myself situated to what this is, not what it was before. I can't hold on to what Joe Judge and Jason Garrett did. I got to look at what Joe Shane and Dable is doing right now in Cap. I got to get myself situated with that.
But that comes with maturity.
I will say this.
Yeah, true.
I
But
wanted.
that, like Jay said, that does come with maturity. He's what, 21, 22?
Yeah, how I'm 31.
Yeah.
I know I wasn't thinking like that at 19.
I damn sure wasn't. Yeah.
I'm the youngest. I'm the
Nobody
youngest one on this
was at that
panel, and I
point.
could tell you, 21 to 25. Yeah, it's a completely different mindset for me, at least. So
Well,
I hear you there.
I'm about to be 45 this year, and guess what? It took a long time for me to
Yeah.
to the point where, you know what, I'm comfortable in being able to look at things from a broader standpoint instead of a narrow standpoint.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm still
That's
struggling
how
with some of that shit now, and I'm
I
43.
feel you,
Man.
Just keeping
I
it
feel you,
funky.
man. I feel you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty much, say maybe that's the situation with him, because you don't know who's in his ear. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I was just about to say.
I'm saying, give
have
it
that.
a chance.
He can sit there and have that understanding, like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, but guess what? He probably got a ton of people in his ear telling him all type of nonsense. He needs to focus on himself and what he wants. If this is what you want, this is what as Lou said, blood, sweat, and tears, year after year, getting hit and putting in that work. If that's what you want, you got the opportunity to actually prove it right now. That's why I wanted him there at voluntary. Again, quote unquote, voluntary. He didn't have to be there.
Jaden's got a point.
This is all over one missed camp. Imagine if, like, the Coke picture, the Coke and pizza picture came out, like Odell. What people be doing this poor kid? I mean, come on.
Geez. Especially now. That was years ago before what's going on now in 2022.
And that got swept under the rug.
They would be crucifying him right now like you wouldn't believe.
Man. Absolutely.
Man, how many star players around the league have missed voluntary? Vets,
numerous.
stars,
There's always one every year.
People that are
There's always
trash
one
in
every
that
year.
street People that
Every
are
year there's one. That gets crucified by the media for missing camp. This year it just happens to be a New York Giant.
Now look,
we have a history of players that used to do that.
I just don't see
Lawrence Taylor, Michael Strahan, they all did.
Justin Strahan, Michael Strahan. Yeah, I said Justin Strahan.
OC did it. A lot of Giants did it.
Oh yeah.
I just don't think anybody on our team has really any trade value right now. I mean, even if you could get him, you could showcase his talent this year. Even if he is a headache this year, showcase his talent. Show him that he has another couple more of these 200-yard games or whatever he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And then trade his ass if he's getting on your nerves, or if he's not showing up, or he's not studying the playbook, because you see he got raw talent, so he's going to be able to bust out and do some shit and flash and show. And so that'll be enough to intrigue a team that would put him on there. You can trade him to the Raiders or something.
And just for the record, I would like to state, so that everybody's clear on my position, I like the kid. I was happy when we drafted him. I made a video about how much his guaranteed money was. I sang to Tony like an idiot. Like, I was super excited to have him. You know what I'm saying? And I still want to see him ball out in a New York Giants jersey. So my anger doesn't come from a place like, fuck him. My anger comes from a place like, damn, dude, I want you to be that fucking guy. I want you to be that new Odell that we keep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And fucking go and do what Victor Cruz and Odell Beckham did, but get us a ring or an NFC division championship, something, so that they can fucking fall back and be like, yeah, he's a rapper. Yeah, he wears a nose ring, but he produces on the fucking field.
Exactly.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So that's where my anger comes from. I'm not hating on the kid. I want to see him ball out for the Giants.
Everybody's different. In the same sense, though. Everybody's different. People aren't going to conform to what we all want. So it is what it is. We got to live with it,
Yeah, exactly.
Time will definitely tell, because we will see.
If he's not getting in trouble, he's still got 6 weeks, right? He's got the mandatory 2 week. And then he's got the entire training camp. He's still got 6-7 weeks to come in and get the playbook and get down and get ready for the season. This is so overblown, man. It's so inappropriate the way people are acting towards him.
Do you think this mini?
It's ridiculous now.
If you think this mini camp is gonna really make them that much better? Like, I mean, like you said, people are just showing up, not even working out. They just walking around and talking and shit. It's not like.
Did y'all hear that? Look, read Kayla's comment.
Oh yeah. They don't allow nobody to send out any playbooks for any. That's like their goal. They don't even show their lips when they're saying the plays on TV.
Yeah, she put a follow-up too, saying the reason we can't send the playbook electronically is not because the players will leak it. It's because players are not well versed in cybersecurity education.
Oh,
okay. I mean,
it can get out, or
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
They do at
shit.
some point in the year. I'm just saying that. I know that for a fact.
I mean, I'm sure it's maybe with their own iPads and laptops at some point. But
and it may be the coaches like, look, I mean, yeah, we cool, but you want this playbook? Come holla at me. Come look me in my face. Shake my hand.
Well, if he can't learn 7 routes, I mean, in 6 weeks, then we got a problem.
We don't need another Ruben Randall here. I mean, we already dealt with that with Ruben Randall a few years ago. We don't need another one of those guys that you try to teach him the playbook for how many years and he still doesn't understand about 2 or 3 routes.
Yep.
So, I mean, he should be able to know the playbook at this point, or at least learn it over time. And also, he's only played the wide receiver position for, what, 2 years? He's coming off being a running back, a quarterback, so the guy is still learning the wide receiver position as we go, and he's already going to be learning his second playbook in his second year. So, I mean, as long as the kid keeps his head on his shoulders, and the biggest thing with him, like everybody else on this team, stay healthy, stay on the field, and that's all we care about. Keep yourself level-headed, and stay on the field, and we're golden.
Well, guys, I got to hop off. You know what I'm saying?
No problem, dude. No problem, bro.
Jeff. Jay Lay, Lou. Hey, man. Thanks
Good talking to you, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Take it easy, Rodney. Have a good one, bro.
Be easy, brother.
Yo.
It's G-Way with Jay Lay. I like that.
You know like that G-Way with Jay Lay?
Yes.
I like that.
G-Way with Jay Lay.
Yes.
All right,
thank you. You're welcome, Jay.
Yeah. Thank you, big brother.
You're welcome, Jay. You're welcome.
Oh, that's too funny.
Thank you.
Oh, look, boy, without the green screen and everything. Let's go.
Oh yeah, man. I've been working on my little,
Oh yeah. Now he official.
I just gotta learn how to edit and shit. I'm not really good with this computer shit. I got this little laptop. I'm not like on the whole desktop or no shit like that.
Bro, I just touched the computer for the first time in my life a few years ago, and I've taught all myself this shit, and I'm computer retarded. So if I can do it, you can do it.
In a good way, yeah.
Jay, I'm gonna say this, and I mean this with love. You look like a light-skinned Aaron Donald.
Hey, I'll take it, boy.
Nah, man. I mean, I love that y'all were able to stop by, man. This has been a great show. I saw we had a bunch of new people in the chat. We have 18 watching. I just wanted to say shout out Big Pat Sports stopping by. Thank you for stopping by, man. Super Taj, Tudo, Neymar. Jaden, I appreciate y'all for stopping by, man, for real.
Let's go.
Now, Neymar asked, and I think that this is a pretty good question. He says if we trade Toney, can we can draft Christian Watson or Alec Pierce? We should save Gettleman. I hate Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge.
I don't know about that last part, but that first part we should do and keep Toney. We should keep Toney and still do that.
Thank you, dog.
Agree.
Thank you, man.
Agree.
That would be sick.
We need to think about the position after 2022.
Bro,
think about the position after 2022.
Because if you think about it, when we were at our best, right, we had 2 running backs at least, and we had 3 receivers that you had to worry about at all times. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So when that is what we need again.
It is.
Plus Jabo runs a lot of 11 personnel in his offense, so you're going to need 3 receivers on that field. So if you can get yourself a top level receiver to pair with a Tony and a Galladay, and then you got Shepard right behind them, there you go.
We're cooking.
Exactly. And you got to think about after 2022. That's the thing too.
Jeff, let's be real. How many games do you think Shepard is going to play this season?
But Lou, I can counter that. How many games do you think Tony and Galladay are going to play? Because I could say the same thing about them too. They've had injury issues as well. So I can say with all these guys.
Honestly, the one I would really like to see go is Kenny Galladay. I would rather keep Kadarius Toney and get rid of Galladay. Galladay really disappointed me last year.
Me too.
Yeah,
I agree. You know what? This is my whole conspiracy theory thing. But I'll be thinking, like, when teams know that the team is trash and that motherfucker's about to get fired, they'd be like, I'm hurt. I can't play. My leg hurt. Psych.
I think the same way. I'm not going to lie.
But I don't know.
Because when that motherfucker was yelling at Jason Garrett and Daniel Jones and shit, and everybody tried to play it down, I was like, yeah, okay, I can understand the passion, but after you do all that yelling, you got to come out here and make it count.
Yep.
He didn't. So I'm like, oh man, like what the fuck?
What are you
He
doing?
was yelling at
down with the
Jason
dude,
Garrett,
too.
by the way. He wasn't yelling at Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he was yelling at Jason Garrett because Jason Garrett's a fucking dummy. I was yelling at Jason Garrett all goddamn.
Everybody was yelling at Jason Garrett through their
Exactly.
TVs.
Who the hell wasn't laughing at Jason Garrett?
You fucking Gerber baby looking fuck.
Oh shit! No, wow.
Hey, man.
All right, all righty
Sorry,
then.
sorry.
Not the
sorry.
Gerber, baby.
I'm sorry. I gotta highlight this because this took me out. Pat says, "Oh, now y'all like wide receivers." Shaking my head. Hey.
Pat's been on that train since the beginning, so I'll give him credit for that. Pat's been on the wide receiver train since the
has.
He
beginning.
has. He had. Me
He's
and
the-
him have
he's the,
debated.
He's the
Me and
originator
him
of the wide receiver.
have
talk.
debated
Yeah.
this shit on a few streams where I want a lineman and he wants a receiver. We've had that discussion
And
numerous
then
times.
everybody was like, "Hell no on a receiver." But
Yeah, they tried to kill his ass.
They did.
I mean, honestly, I could see it happening. And I said earlier in the stream, if Tony gets traded, I think it's within the first 2 rounds they take a receiver. But if they keep him, which I think that they will, I think it's
2 rounds
easily the
later.
first 3 rounds, to be real with you. We'll see.
Shit, I thought David Deal was talking for a second.
And you know what? the way the Giants fan base is, myself included, we talk so much shit that shit might actually fuel him to come out here and fucking blaze it up this year. He might be sitting home. He might be sitting home like, watch what I'm gonna do and shut these motherfuckers up.
Look
You know
at
what I'm saying?
Barkley. Barkley looks like he's got that look on his face.
Barkley
right now.
looked like he's ready to fucking
Barkley
go.
looks
He
pissed.
couldn't
Like
even
he's
sit
ready to
still at
shut
the
these
podium,
guys
bro.
up.
He couldn't even
Yeah.
stand still at the podium. He was not still, not one time at the podium. This motherfucker was rocking back and forth the whole time. I'm tired of people talking about me. I'm trying to shut up the haters. What he wanted to say is, I want to get on this fucking field and show y'all who the fuck Saquon is.
Saquon.
Yeah.
Man. And God, you go get you an Equanu and Evan Neal too. Come on, dog.
I bet you he was just
that
happy with
Jamaican in you just
Lewinsky
came
coming
out.
in.
That Jamaican in him just came out. You heard that? That's a word in Jamaica.
I'm just saying, dog. You get this man an offensive line, bro. I'm telling you, this boy gonna feast, man. Because I agree with you, dog. I think that this man got like a fire in him right now because he sees how some of the fans are talking about him.
All the fans are giving up on him. They think that Barkley's trash now.
I think GOS and I agree on this at least. If you use Saquon Barkley in a similar fashion to Alvin Kamara, he will fucking kill somebody, bro. I'm telling you.
Trouble.
God,
As long as the fear is gone, a little resistance.
I think he got his confidence back the last 2 games, and then the quarterback play was just so fucking horrible that he couldn't do anything.
In his interview, I'm paying attention to what he's saying. He says multiple times that I'm not even thinking about it. Like I can make moves without thinking, because you could tell last year he was worried about.
Yeah, he was second guessing everything. Yeah.
And now he's moving. His fluidity is back. He's not even. It's just second nature.
And with good reason too. That was a tough injury. That is,
And then if you do that again, I mean, shit, your career's over. So I mean,
but I think in all reality, us having a shitty year and him being sidelined so much was actually the best thing for him, because when he comes back this year, he'll have a well-rested and recuperated knee and
better O-line.
Yeah, I just hope he fucking comes out here and fucking kills it.
Plus, he's playing for a contract, so it's extra motivation right there too. He's playing for that big contract that he wants to get in the off season, so that's also going to help fuel him.
I got 3 different Barkley jerseys. That's my favorite fucking player on the team.
Yep.
Like
I got 2, dog. I got 2. I don't want to see this kid go, bro.
You see my avatar picture? You look at the picture.
Right. I argued with Pat. Me and Pat got into a heated argument.
I remember that.
About trading Barkley. I was like, man, y'all motherfuckers crazy.
Yep, I remember that. Shit.
I remember
That's
that.
funny. I remember that. You were like, I remember that with the whole Daniel Jones and Saquon shit.
I was like, if you want to trade motherfucking Saquon, you can't keep Daniel Jones. Hell no.
You better trade everybody. You trade Saquon. I don't want nobody.
Them all off this team.
It's gonna be a rebuild for real.
A full 100% rebuild. You give it a Saquon, damn it.
Lou, Kayla wants to know: do you want to buy her Saquon Barkley jersey?
No, I already have 3. Didn't you hear my last sentence? There ain't no money. The Giants
want to make it even 4.
The Giants only have 3 colors: red, white, blue.
Yeah. I mean, I got the home and then I got the Color Rush one. I think the Color Rush one is my favorite jersey at the moment. I can't hold you.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish. I mean, I wish
I just
growing
thought
up.
about what she said. That was very disrespectful, Kayla. Why you want to sell that man jersey? That's foul.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think about it like
Keep
that.
it.
Big Blue for Life 57 Ortiz. I appreciate you stopping by, man. He says, fellas, remember it's all voluntary workout. Tony is going to beast it this year. I
Tell
agree
that
with
to
you,
half
guys.
the
Hey,
fan base that's
from your
blasting the
lips to
guy.
God's ears, bro.
Yeah. Half the fan base want to get this guy the hell out of here already. They're already like setting his go away ticket.
And you
See,
know
it's
who was it?
crazy.
Who was it that said we're jaded when I first came on?
Me.
Because he's kind of right.
Me. I know, because I am too.
Because like we've had, you think about it, we had DeAndre Baker, we've had
Bruh.
we've had so many good draft talent come here and then they're gone. You
How
know
the
what
hell
I'm
can we
saying?
not be jaded? Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And
But that's what I'm saying though, bro. We've had so much fuckery happen that I'm kind of want to just let it sit for a second, sit in it for a second, and see what the
Because
fuck is going on.
we get excited at the draft and we're like, fuck yeah, we got this guy and that guy, and we go and
Yeah.
watch film and we make highlight videos and all
Yeah.
this shit, and then
Yep.
we come out here and go fucking 4-13. And you're like, motherfucker!
Yeah. You know how much shit I was talking? You know how much shit I was talking in the off season last year?
oh man,
Bro, and then I'm sitting there every week. Because I go to my partner house every week or every time on Sunday.
Bro,
Our kids
I got
play.
videos of how much shit
Yeah.
I was talking. We're gonna be the number 3 defense in
Yeah.
the league.
Man,
11-6.
We're gonna be 11-6.
Yeah.
Patrick Graham is gonna have these guys blitzing everywhere.
and then it was just L
I
wins.
was like,
L
fuck my life. And I
Yeah.
got this shit out on the internet for everybody to see.
My kids watch this shit.
Bro, and that's the thing is like I'm gonna keep that energy every year. To be real with you, I
I
mean,
got
obviously,
to. I got
it-
to.
it-
That's my team. A lot of
Exactly.
motherfuckers, even though they
I'm
make me
just a little
suffer.
bit quieter. I'm just a little.
It's the NFL. Anything goes. It's an anything goes league. Team could
I took a
suck
little
one
bit
year,
of
and
the
the next
bass out
year
of
it could
my
be
voice
a playoff team. So you really don't know.
Khalik Freeman, I see that I actually haven't seen your name here. So if you're new to the channel, I did drop everybody's link that is on this panel.
He's
in the
usually
chat.
on mine. I
Yeah.
know him.
Okay, awesome, man. I appreciate you stopping by. Join the Hit Squad if you haven't already. He asked, would it surprise y'all if we took 2 defensive prospects in the first round and then draft a right tackle in the second and third?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Joel
be
said
honest
that
with you.
shit months ago.
No, it would not.
Joel said that shit months ago. Joe was like,
Mhm.
what if they get Kayvon Thibodeau and Trayvon Walker with them first 2 picks? And everybody was like, what? We need O-line. What the
Not
fuck?
Kayvon.
Yeah.
Not Trayvon Walker.
It is
Oh.
it is unacceptable. The draft is a bust in my eyes if we don't get one of those top tackles.
Facts.
For real.
Yeah,
I think we all agree on that shit.
Because after those 3 tackles, the drop off from tackle is so fucking far.
Yep.
Like those dudes are ready plug and play start right now. And
I don't want Penning.
one of them comes from a program that every year double-digit players are plug-in ready to go players. That's why I want Evan Neal, but that's just my personal preference.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only
so
other
have a
one I
question.
like was a tight end 2 years ago, Bernard Raymond or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I have a question for the panel, and you guys answer in whatever order, whoever goes first or whatever. But
good.
what do you guys think about trying to get Christian Harris as linebacker?
I'd love it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would love it if we can get him.
Sign me up.
In Wink Martindale's system, do you guys think that he would flourish and be a fucking dog for the Giants?
He'll be what Patrick Queen was supposed to be.
I like.
I
that.
think a guy like Leo Chanel would be better in Wink's system, to be honest with you.
But Leo Snell's not as good at being in coverage, and we've been getting killed by tight ends every damn year. And tight ends.
No, but he's great at blitzing and open field tackling, which is what Wink wants.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, but I'll be honest with you. I mean, if we could get Christian Harris, I think that he could be a very nice addition in this defense, especially
Yeah,
now
but he's
that
not a
you were able-
guarantee. He played better later in the year, right? But he did have moments where he didn't look too great.
Now
Not
you
to
know what? I kind of like what he just said right there, because if you couple Leo Chanel with Blake Martinez, who are both tackling machines, it will be hard to run against us, and it will be hard to catch them short intermediate passes. Therefore, all you need to do is have a lockdown secondary,
which we were close to having.
Mm-hmm.
That
So I
wouldn't
mean,
actually that wouldn't be a bad move actually.
that wouldn't at all. I mean, when you put it that way, I mean, it may make more sense in that respect to go secondary, in the
I'm just
first round,
my
whether that's cornerback or if they feel safety is the need.
I just like Bama players. Yeah, these motherfuckers is big.
I
And
mean,
then my
you
wife
and me
from
both.
Tuscaloosa, so I mean, she roll tide crazy. And I mean, these motherfuckers you got like 10 players every year to come out of Alabama. That's just natural, just ready to play in the NFL. Like they could have played their junior year in college in the NFL.
Nick Saban.
Man,
Yeah,
they pump out professionals.
Exactly.
Pause.
Jaden.
Pause, man. Pause.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah,
Jaden the Champ says we're just an Akeem Aquanu or cross away from being at least a top 20 offense. I'm trying to be higher than that, man. I'm gonna just be
I don't want
honest.
to be
Facts,
20.
hit squad.
I'm
Facts.
trying to
Higher
be
than
higher
that,
than
not
that.
20.
Yeah, I mean, will it happen? I mean,
And I don't
I
think
don't know.
there's I don't
I
think
don't think
there's
maybe
two.
not this year, but I want to get to a point, man, where you see these high-powered offenses, throughout the league. I mean, I want to get to that point, where we're just a powerhouse of a team, man. I mean, I don't think that it's impossible, especially if you keep a player like Tony. You just keep adding more pieces through the draft.
But hey guys,
Well,
I'm gonna
after
hop
the
off.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
gotta
for
get off
having
too.
me.
Yeah, no
I'm about to
problem.
eat
No
dinner.
problem.
I'm going live at 9:30. Me and Miz doing something. So you guys stop by if you got time. But I need to
Yes,
You
eat
know, I'm
sir.
gonna be
something.
there.
Yes,
So
sir. I
hey,
All right,
thank
appreciate
you.
I'm
you
about
guys
to get off
stopping
too.
by.
I'm about to get off too. I'm finna eat myself.
J Lay,
No worries.
GOS.
All right,
Have a
y'all.
good one, bro.
Thanks for
Jeff,
having me
all
on
right,
Hit
man.
Squad.
Hit squad.
Not a problem, man. I
And I don't
appreciate you
have a
Take it
guys
easy,
crystal
stopping by.
Lil.
ball, GOS. I do not have a crystal ball, my
I'm
brother.
gonna call you tomorrow and see what Tony's up to. Yeah.
Motherfucker crazy.
And I wish I did. If anybody finds one, let me get it, bro.
I know that's
Yeah.
right. Shit. All right, bro. Y'all have
Later,
a good
y'all.
one.
Man. Y'all be safe, man. Thanks for stopping
Take
by.
it easy,
Um,
fellas.
Pat asked, he says, so if Barkley is tired of this media, how do you feel Tony feels about this media? I mean, to me, I think that's a good point. I mean, and I think that both players kind of have, not kind of, I think more Barkley than Tony, but I think that, they have their reasons as to why they should be tired about the media. I mean, they get ragged on a lot, not just by the media, but by the fans. So I mean, I've said it before. Playing with this knowing what this fan base is and how some of these fans act, on top of how the media can be. I mean, I feel like if you're not built for it, it can drain the fuck out of you. I'm gonna just be real with you. I mean, and you're starting to see it that it does wear on some of the players, but some of them they use it to fuel them. And I want to see Saquon come out and have a killer of a year. He's looking like he got fire in his eyes right now.
You gotta
And
be able
and
to turn
just
it off. You know what I mean?
it,
On bad days,
exactly.
bad games, you gotta be able to turn it off and
Yeah, and I
and
and I
remove
agree with
yourself
you
from
there.
it.
And look, I'm gonna say this much, GOS. I mean, you look at Saquon. I mean, can you really blame him for running scared behind that offensive line? I mean, do y'all remember when there was that click shot of our two offensive linemen blocking each other? I mean,
Oh,
I,
how
Well, I
can
don't
you
think it
not
was the
remember that?
offensive line. I just think it was that injury that was because you
that
could eat it
too. Yeah,
sometimes.
That had to
He'd
tie
start
into
to
it,
cut,
yeah.
then he'd drop, then he'd get up and he'd like feel his knee. You could actually see him reach down and grab it and touch it. Like you could see he was physically thinking about it and
Plus, he
not
had the
cutting a
ankle
certain
injury
way.
too. He was still coming back from the ankle injury that he suffered against Dallas. He wasn't completely right after that one too, because I think he re-aggravated in practice. So,
that's what
coupled
I
with the
think
knee
too.
injury coming back and the ankle injury, he definitely was not anywhere near 100%.
But
So, and maybe
that
that's something
wasn't
that
just
affect
an
Galladay.
ACL. That wasn't
Yeah, it
just
was
an
It was
ACL. It was
ACL,
ACL,
MCL,
MCL,
and a torn
PCL, all
meniscus.
of it.
Yeah, he had
Yeah,
a
exactly.
partially torn meniscus too.
that's bad.
Coupled with the ankle injury as well. And I think Galladay wasn't 100% right too, because he messed up his knee pretty bad
And
in
his
that
hip
Dallas
too.
game. Yeah, and his hip as well. So I mean, we really just don't know what everything happened behind the scenes with these guys or how hurt they really were. But at the same time, if you're on the field, for the fans are gonna expect you to produce. So
No,
I
and,
think
and and look, not to cut you off, Jeff. I mean, that's something that like while it can be a double-edged sword, I've appreciated with Saquon Barkley because Saquon Barkley, I mean, we saw it, in years past where he probably shouldn't have came back as early as he did from certain injuries, but he still came back and at least tried doing with what he can. He didn't look the same in those moments, but I respect that he at least tried to come back earlier, and I think that shows his toughness. But at the same time, I mean, I just think that you got to really take care of your body. And injuries, you can't. We don't know when they're going to happen. They just happen. And I mean, I think a lot of Saquon's injuries are freak injuries. I mean, especially that one against the Dallas Cowboys. That's a freak injury. I don't care
Oh
what no
yeah.
one says. I mean, it's just to me, man. I think a lot of people put a high expectation on Saquon because I mean, you heard Judge last year say, "Oh, it's going to be a hell of a comeback story," and I tried telling fans this year, he's going to come back, he's going to look pretty good, but he's not going to look like what we've seen before, prior to his injury, because it takes what 2 years. For you to fully come back from those type of injuries. And again, to your point, it wasn't just an ACL. I mean, damn. I mean, he damn near ripped what, 3 different ligaments?
Yeah, he ripped 3 different ligaments, and I mean, I blame Dave Gettle. Well,
Yeah.
Dave Gettle for that one, for what he said that he's the number 2 pick. He's quote unquote touched by the hand of God. He's a gold jacket type player. That automatically just threw all these major expectations on Saquon Barkley. And yeah, I mean, when he's healthy, he has shown the propensity to be an electric player, but he's had some freak injuries, and it's just part of the game. That's the biggest thing with Barkley now is he's got to try to stay on the field. And he's got to trust himself on that knee, on the ankle, on everything, and move this guy around like Lou. And I think you made it earlier, GOS. Let this guy play on the outside at the receiver position. We saw what he could do on that wheel route play that he did against New Orleans. The guy is still an explosive player and arguably the most explosive player on this offense when he's right, when he's got blocking in front of him, when he trusts his knee and he trusts his body that he can get it done. That's what you got to see. If this kid can stay on the field, stay healthy, and if he can be able to trust himself to go out there and be the Saquon Barkley, maybe not of what he was in 2018, maybe somewhat of what he was in 2019 before he had that ankle injury. So, the
I mean, I
kid's on a
think that's
mission.
possible. He is on a mission. I mean, for a variety of different things, whether that's to prove the fans wrong, to play for his next contract, whether he thinks that's going to come from the Giants or not. I mean, look, I mean, I know a lot of people want these fans to, keep their head down and, not listen to the media, not listen to the fans, but in today's age, man, I mean, with technology and, social media, I mean, it's hard for me to believe that a lot of these players, especially younger players, around my age, 24, 25, where we're not on social media. I mean, whether they want to admit to it or not, I'm sure that Saquon sees that some fans refer to him as a mascot. I'm sure that Saquon sees that, there's people that believe, because I did see tweets about this last year. I ain't gonna call out names, but I did see tweets about this last year where people were
Mhm.
saying Devontae Booker was better than Saquon Barkley. So I mean, it's just, dog. I mean, if I'm Saquon, again, I got them fire in my eyes, and I'm looking to prove a point this year. And hopefully, if we can secure whether that's a Neal or a Quanu, I mean, man, I think that we're gonna see. I'm gonna pause myself before I even say it. Bigger holes, for Saquon. So yeah,
Pause. Just
that's why I said
pause.
pause.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's fine to consume media, but I mean, use a little epistemology. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the. I mean, use a line of questioning. Just ask yourself certain questions, and because like G Nation was just saying in here, rumors build up, rumors, and then people just run
yeah.
with the rumors, and then we build a narrative on things, and we're shipping guys out of here when we don't even know what's going on. So,
It's true.
we've seen that he's able to be a good player. We have a lack of talent in the team. I don't want to ship good players out of here, especially in a year where it's so dependent on. We got 1 year for Daniel Jones. We got to see
Yep.
who he is, and shipping out Kadarius Toney is just going to make it even harder for Daniel Jones to produce for one last year that he's got.
I agree
Mhm.
with you 100%. I mean, if you're going into this saying, okay, we got to see what we have in this kid, and if he's our franchise QB, why would you take arguably one of his top two weapons away from him outside of Saquon Barkley? It just doesn't make sense to me. And I just think that with how versatile this kid is, it doesn't make sense to move off of this kid. Now, again, when it becomes mandatory and if he's doing things, that's a discussion for down the road. But where
Yeah.
it stands at currently, I just don't think that this is a player that you should, trade away. And I think that you should add to your wide receiver core. Again, we all got different views on how early, how late, but in my opinion, I mean, give this kid some weapons. And I think that, with how you could use Kadarius Toney, I mean, it's only going to help out players like Saquon Barkley. It's going to help out Kenny Galladay. I mean, shoot, if Sterling Shepard really does come back earlier than we think that he's slated to come back. I know that they said that he's looking to come back. The beginning of the regular season by the first game, was it?
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
yeah,
But if he could come back, I mean, even if he's going to get adjusted to coming off of this injury, I mean, a player like Tony, I think that that's a player that could build to where teams got to take note of him on
yeah.
the field.
You put him in
Yeah.
motion, somebody has to follow him. Somebody from the middle of that
Absolutely.
field is going to get pushed to the sideline, which opens up just more space for Saquon Barkley in the middle. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, it makes a difference for everybody.
Yeah, and that's what we need. I mean, and that's the thing. I think we need it on both sides of the ball. And I think that you're gonna have some fans that, and I was talking about this again with Ash the Hub and on their panel yesterday. You're gonna have some fans that I'm telling you, if y'all read some of these comments when they describe Kadarius Toney, I'm gonna just say, I don't care what no one say, it comes off as borderline racist. Not, I'm not saying
Oh,
everyone. I'm not
I
saying
guarantee there's a ton of that. I
there,
guarantee there's a
there,
bunch
there
of
is
that.
No
a
doubt about
ton.
it. No doubt.
There is a ton of that, and it's honestly, I read it as say what you really trying to say, because you showing your whole ass when this kid hasn't really done anything for you to show your whole ass like that. So it's just ridiculous. I understand. You want your players there. I understand. It's voluntary. I get it. For me, I've been saying it. I'm not going to make a big deal out of this, but I think that this is a player that he could be a vital piece in this offense. I mean, shoot, Joe Shane said it himself 7 weeks ago at the combine. And I know that we spoke about this a little bit earlier before we had more people join the stream. You had some people talk about was this to see who in the front office is leaking this information, or who
Mhm.
just leak information in general. I mean, I think that that could be possible. I'm not buying too much into that, but I'm keeping that at least an open mind to it, that I could see that. This is a new regime. I know that we kept a couple people from the previous regime. Could they be looking to weed out a couple people, and maybe after the draft we see some front office moves? I don't know. I'm considering it, because I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility. Because this news came from somewhere. Someone had to tell Pat Leonard. It got leaked out somehow. So I mean, and I don't see what would cause your general manager to completely switch his mindset in a span of 7 weeks.
I just think it's it should be an evaluation year, not
It should.
only for the scouts, like some of the scouts from the Gettleman era, but also for the players on this roster that are Gettleman players, and just try to see who could fit into the plan moving forward. Because you're going to have a ton of cap space after this season, so you could essentially use some of that cap space if need be to maybe keep some of these guys if they perform well, if they fit your offensive or defensive schemes. And it's like pretty much an evaluation year on who you think is going to be part of this team moving forward and who isn't. It's for every single player on this roster.
Yeah.
Everybody that is not part of the Joe Shane and Brian Dable play, like, they haven't been drafted or signed or anything by those two guys. So that's what I really feel this entire year is going to be. If we win this year, awesome. If we're win 6, 7, 8, 9 games, which has been like a foreign thing for the past 5 years, any Giants fans should feel better after what the garbage we've had to watch the past 5 years. Just show progression, a foundation, and identity. Who is part of this? Like, who are going to be the building blocks of this team? Continues sustained success. That's what you should be looking for 2022, and then 2023. We could really start seeing a potential like true foundation of this franchise going forward, because I do think it is going to be a rebuilding year. It's just 2022 made it a little bit difficult because of the cap space that we have, the cap limited cap we have, and really just the amount of we don't have a ton of surefire talent on this roster. It's just a whole bunch of ifs in terms of the players on this roster currently. So that's what
I'm
it
sure
is.
they
Just an
wanted to rebuild.
evaluation. Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure
I
they
mean,
wanted to rebuild. How can you? With all the
yeah,
things you just talked about, the cap. I mean, I've had this battle with fans about this rebuilding narrative for so long. Bad Dog says it all the time on his videos. We've been rebuilding for 8 years. We still suck. No, 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 no. The last rebuild started in 2019. That's when we wiped everybody out and started bringing in the new.
yep,
Last year was the third year of our last rebuild, and it kind of got flushed down the tubes. The defense started off poorly, or way worse than we thought. And by the end of the middle of the season, there were so many injuries, the year was lost. So
mhm.
basically, it's just a continuation of the third year of a rebuild. But remember, this is a whole new staff. So this year, if it goes down the tubes again, we only win 5, 6, 7 games. Yeah, get ready for an actual rebuild next year. A lot of these players will start getting flushed out and all new brought in. So
Absolutely.
And I think that whether we win or not, some of these players are going to get flushed out regardless next year. You know,
Oh,
I
no
think that
doubt.
they may want to look to bring their guys in that they feel that fits not just, their schemes and what they want to do, but just, their philosophy, their culture. And I honestly, I could see it. I know that we talk sometimes about, whether that's Kenny Galladay next year. Is that possibly? I don't think it is now at this point, but was that Adoree Jackson prior? His restructure. I mean, I, I at this point, man, for me, I kind of see it as, like you said, Jeff, an evaluation year. I'm not seeing it as, we're rebuilding, because I think that, we have some players that we can work with at the moment. We know what our holes are on this team, but, and I've been saying this, I don't think that we're going to be as bad as some people believe that we're going to be. And I think maybe that ties into the fact that, yeah, I get that we don't have the best players right now. What you can look at the offensive line at least. Um, but I don't think that we're that far off. I'm not going
We
to
I
have
wouldn't be
deny
it's,
that.
shocked
it's
if
health.
nine,
It's
10 games. I
health.
wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
It's
shocked
health
either.
with this team. The team has talent, but the biggest question that's been with the Giants has been health. These guys just can't stay on the field consistently, and Daniel Jones hasn't had his full complement of playmakers since he came into the league. He's always had somebody missing games, so he's really not had a chance to work with his full complement of guys, no
And
matter
Jeff,
what year it was. And
can I
that's the biggest question. Go ahead, Hit.
can I say this? Like, when you look at how Jason Garrett, quote unquote, schemed his receivers open, I mean, Jesus Christ,
It's a joke.
there was plays where I'm looking at it, I'm like, dog, we're not even getting to the first down mark, and like the
No,
first
it's a
down
joke.
mark is like a 4th and 5. Like, we're just like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. And I remember
Fourth and
Michael
5. We're gonna
Strahan
run a
tweeting
3-yard
about it.
curl.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm hoping, and I think that we're all hoping, and I mean, I'll put my ass out there. I'm expecting that Dable and Kafka are going to scheme these guys open better than fucking Jason Garrett ever could have. I mean, because Jesus Christ. I mean, you bring Kenny Galladay to be your 50-50 guy, and the first one to catch, to throw him a 50-50 ball was fucking Jake Fromm. What was that, against Dallas
Yep.
or Philly? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
shit.
that's a joke. That's a joke.
I mean, and then you say, well, Kadarius Toney doesn't know the playbook yet, and then he comes out and he's looking like the best talent that we have on our team, and it's like, what are y'all talking about? And they're like, oh, well, we think that Nate Solder is the best fit at right tackle for us at the moment to help us win games. I mean, are you serious? Like,
When Matt Parrott was visibly better.
yeah, so for me personally, I don't think that we're that far off. I think if you can go and get yourself a perennial right tackle, whether that's an Iquanu, whether that's an Evan Neal, which at this point it's looking pretty likely that Neal may be there at 5.
I do too,
Um,
Jaden. I do
and
too.
you go and you can get yourself, whether that's a Kayvon or a Sauce, dog. I think that you got something working there. And can I say this? I mean, pause on everything. Aziz looked good, dog. Aziz looked like he put on some weight. I mean, he was sitting next to Andrew Thomas, and Andrew
Yeah, he looked
Thomas
sick.
looked small.
He looks swole.
I mean, he looked small compared to Aziz. Aziz looked
Mm-hmm.
like he put in the work this offseason. So are the Giants maybe thinking, okay, we don't necessarily got to go edge in the first round, because, mind you, Aziz got 8 sacks while, what is he, like 21? He's a kid. Like, he's literally a kid. So I mean, he's gonna develop. He's very young, and I think that you pair him with a guy like Wink. I mean, dog. I mean, this could be a guy that going forward could possibly get us double-digit sacks. Shit, almost did in his rookie season, in a lost season.
It's really just it's going to depend on health. This team, if they can stay healthy, they can have a chance with the talent they have on their roster to be a 7, 8, 9, possibly 10 win team because the division is still very questionable all over. And the best team, Dallas, definitely took some steps down this season. Now we haven't gone through the draft yet, so who knows what picks each team could make and how they might improve. But at the same time, yes, this team could surprise because they do have talent on this roster, but it's always going to come down to health with this team. And if they
Oh,
can stay healthy,
absolutely.
especially on the offensive end, this team can win. They could surprise people and they can win because they do have talent. It's just questionable talent that has had major injury issues.
I
I
mean,
think there's 4 holes on a defense, right? Well,
yeah,
Bradbury's gone. Corner, we need another
Safety.
safety, defensive tackle, and an edge rusher. You might be able to say middle linebacker, but I think we can get by if we need to. But
I think they could have. I think
safety,
they should have a linebacker at least somewhere in the middle of
safety,
the
and
draft.
defensive tackle is something that really needs to be done in this draft. And
I
that's
agree.
and I don't hear a lot of people talking about that. But that has 2 positions that really need to talk. Unless they got plans to bring somebody in on safety. I don't know. I mean, I like the one defensive tackle they brought in.
Oh, Justin Ellis, yeah, he's
yeah.
he,
Yep,
he's
Justin
he's a
Ellis.
solid player.
I liked him a
Yeah,
lot.
he's good for early downs, but
Well, did you guys see how big Dexter Lawrence looks? Maybe they're planning on moving him finally inside, not having played that hybrid defensive tackle / defensive end position. So maybe he's going to be more of that inside guy and see how he looks there because
Well,
he
he
yeah,
looks
I'd
a
be good.
lot bigger. He looks a
he did
lot bigger.
he did say in his press conference that he is out of shape. So I mean, because I'm not gonna lie, on the last stream I pointed it out. I shared the screen. He does look a little chunkier. Pause, but he does look, like he put on some weight, and whether that's just the off season, whether that's just like you said, Jeff, could they be looking him to move into a different spot? I mean, I'm very interested to see how he's used. I do agree, GOS, that we are going to need a defensive tackle. I mean, where do they go DT in this draft? I mean, because we do need tight ends. We're going to need a receiver. Like you said, we need safety help too. We also, if Bradbury's gone, we're gonna need another corner. So I mean, for me personally, if we're talking about ranking them, at least on the defensive side, for me, I got edge, corner, DT, and then safety. Because I honestly, man, I really want to see Julian Love get a fair shot for at least just 1 year. See what you got with the kid.
hmm
So I
By the way,
mean,
if anybody wants a quick playoff update, the Celtics are leading the Nets 26-20 currently right now. So that's
appreciate
just
you. Yeah,
that's the current update right now.
yeah. I mean, let me ask you guys really quick. I mean, because GOS, I know that you be pumping out, draft related videos, and please, y'all gotta go check out Giant Opinion Sports.
Oh, he's
His link
got
will
good
be in the
stuff. Yeah.
bio. Absolutely, it'll be in the bio. It's in the chat. I want to ask GOS. I mean, when you look between the second and third round right now, just realistically, with what we know about, some of these teams that may be looking to move off their receivers, maybe looking to acquire receivers. I mean, is there one in those 2 rounds that you could see the Giants pencil in, like realistically, pencil in?
Hmm. I mean, I guess depends on one of them top, what are you, 6, 7 guys. One of them drops. I haven't looked at a whole lot at receivers, but the ones that people are talking about, like Alex Pierce or whatever, the ones that flashed at Senior Bowl, basically. And they did test out of the world, but I mean, receivers just such a finicky position. You just never know.
Yeah,
Some guys
no,
in that, some guys drop everything in college. They get the NFL and they look amazing. They catch everything in college. They drop everything in NFL.
mhm.
You know,
I mean, no,
I don't think there's
absolutely.
anybody you could just pencil in. There is a couple interesting guys, but the
Mhm.
second round and needs, I just don't. I think that's the wrong direction to look. I think the third, fourth round, there's some. Unless you want to take some of them guys a little bit early, like I'm in love with Wandale Robinson. Like I love that guy. I love everything about him. I think he could be a decent slot receiver, and you can use him in all that gimmicky stuff. A
Mhm.
decent future slot wide receiver. But I don't know if you could talk second round. Another one is Alex Pierce, but he's just really fast. So
No, yeah, and I,
yeah,
and I hear you
yeah, I
there.
think of more needs.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you. I mean, for me, like I said, I've been really just looking at the third round personally. Um, Again, if KT is traded, obviously I think that's the first two. Like I said earlier, but yeah, for me, I think that if you can, get your edge rusher in the first and lock up your tackle, then why not go, corner in the second round? I really like, I just feel that at this point, if it's not going to be a cornerback in the second round, I could possibly see linebacker in play. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
I could too. I could definitely see a linebacker being play around that 36 pick. I mean, who really knows? Maybe they surprise us and decide to go linebacker in earlier on. If we maybe trade back with one of those picks and we get a linebacker in the mid rounds, then again we haven't drafted a linebacker in the first round since Carl Banks. So it's like
Very
a
true.
case we
Yeah.
have to believe it when we see it. So, but I mean, if we really that's the beauty about this draft is we all think we have an idea of what the Giants might do. They could do something that we do not expect at all. And that's the beauty of this because this team could go in so many different directions because there is talent and the Giants are in a position where they could take advantage of some teams that might be quarterback hungry that could trade up and come after one of these quarterbacks. We can get maybe a couple of picks in the first round. Maybe we really don't know. Maybe we could get a first round pick for next year if Daniel Jones potentially is not that guy. And we can get an extra first round pick for next year if we really want to go after a quarterback. So we could really take advantage of anything going on in this draft. And we really don't know. We're just throwing out hypothetical ideas of what we could happen, but we really just don't know. And that's the beauty of this draft and how important it is for the New York Giants this year.
And I agree with you 100%, man. Kayla, if I mean shit, I mean I'm sure that you're a lot better than Jason Garrett, and I know that you can do it, man. Only you can do it. So just like Lou said, no one can stop you but you. You got this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's going on, brother? Blue City Empire Sports. Thank you for stopping by, man. Um, I mean, yeah, we'll see, man. Again, I'm not putting too much weight into the KT, the Kadarius Toney situation. Again, it's voluntary. We'll see. But for me, man, uh, I don't think he's gone. I mean, that's just me personally.
I
Um,
personally think it's 50-50. I think it go 50-50. I
it
think
could
do think some of it is blown out of proportion, but we really just don't know what is going on behind the scenes. That's the whole thing.
absolutely. Blue City Empire Sports says, "Did you guys hear the rumors that the Giants might be getting Stingley Jr. at pick 7 in the first round?" I've been seeing that more and more teams, even the Texans, were linked to Stingley as of recent. You've been hearing that teams are more interested in him, um, and honestly, I've been saying this for God knows how long, and y'all could go check my videos. I mean, I don't want a corner in the first round, but if I did, Stingley would be the one that I choose. I'm just being
Mhm.
Me
honest.
too. Yeah, I think we're in
Um,
a minority on that. As long as he's got a lot of injury questions. I just looked at my ranking here. I actually have Jalen Tolbert. He's a small school guy, South Alabama. One of
mhm.
a possible wide receiver in the middle of the second, but not you're not talking. Yeah, I don't have anybody at the top of the second round wide receiver wise. They're all 50 and back here. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're going to take one in the second, unless one of those, whether that's a Traylon Burks falls in the second round, which I don't see it happening personally,
yeah.
but if he does,
Some teams are really high on him. I hear.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too. So it's like I don't see him falling, but if he does, maybe. But again, to go back to your point, GOS, I'm looking at more of our needs. You know,
Yeah,
it's not like we desperately need a wide receiver at the moment. But if one of those linebackers falls, I mean, they could potentially look to grab one of them. I mean, I personally like if we were to trade back with the Saints or hypothetically with the Steelers. I mean, I would love to get a player like Devin Lloyd. I mean, I'm gonna just say it. I mean, I would love to get a player like Devin Lloyd. I wouldn't take him at 7, but if we could trade back and obviously Stingley and Sauce are off the board. Um, I mean, maybe you have a Karlaftis there, but for me, I just think that Devin Lloyd. I mean, you take him, and then if you want to address your edge rusher position in the second round, I mean, you can do that. But I mean, I really like Devin Lloyd, man.
well,
I
I
think he's
think
a
you're onto
stud of a player.
something. The cornerback in the second round. I think you're onto something there. There's a few guys. Andrew Booth in wing system. I think would be excellent,
Ooh,
and
that's a
Yeah,
good
I
pick.
agree. I agree on
I
that
think
one.
he'd
I
be
think Booth would be
perfect for wing
fantastic.
system. He's maybe my favorite corner out of the whole group. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be the best of the group, Another guy is Kyrie Elam. Nice long arms. If Wake wants to come in here and do more of that press stuff, or just have
Mhm.
at least one cornerback to come in and press. He's another guy
Yeah.
who's projected like 25 and back, no matter where you look. So there's a possibility he slips to us in the second too, and that would be a steal to get somebody like him. He's a talented kid from Florida. I've seen plenty of him because my wife was a Gators fan. But
Yeah, I mean, look, and I think honestly, if you're asking me, for a team that doesn't necessarily need a quarterback right now, I think this is a perfect draft to look at your other needs, that you have, because this is a very deep draft in my opinion. For whether you want to look at edge rusher, if you want to go get yourself a wide receiver, if you want to get yourself, a player on your offensive line, if you want to go get yourself maybe a corner. I mean, there's players throughout this draft that the Giants, if we were to trade back, I mean, you're getting quality players that may not necessarily, be in that position. Let's say if it was next year's draft, or maybe, the draft from last year, maybe they're rated higher. I mean, I'm gonna just be honest with you. I think that as bad as I want, and I really want an edge rusher in the first round. If we took one in the second round, I mean, you pair them with the Z's. I mean, it may not be, our Batman that we're looking to get. But I mean, I think you're still getting a quality player there that can really come off the ball and help players like Aziz Ojolari and help Ellerson Smith, Quincy Roche. So I
Mhm.
mean,
maybe
I think
Ojabo. Maybe
yeah,
Ojabo draw.
There you go.
Ojabo draw.
Yeah, Jabo could be a guy that you can maybe look at in the second or third round. I mean, who is this kid really going to be? Is he going to miss the entire season? He could come back.
I
And
think
he's
he can come back in the middle of the year.
yeah. He
but
can.
Yeah.
that's the thing. I mean, do the Giants? I mean, if it's the second round or even the third round, if he's still there, which I don't think he'd be there in the third round, I think a team like Philly could risk, one of those first rounders or the second round pick on a player like David Ojabo, and let him just heal up and have him learn the scheme. But I mean, if Ojabo's there in the third round or even in the
He ain't
second,
making it a third.
I don't
he
think he's.
might.
I
No,
don't think
he's
he's
gonna
making the
he's gonna
third
be a
either.
second round pick at least.
I
I
don't
wouldn't
think
be
he is
surprised
either.
if somebody
Jabo.
grabs him in the first, middle of the
That's
first,
why I was
still,
saying
even with the injury.
because the Eagles. I mean,
The
I don't
Eagles
think
are the
Arnett's
Eagles
the
like
answer.
him. Yeah, I
You
think
I
the
know,
had this
Eagles are going
argument with
to.
Big Blue Corner, but I think the cornerbacks in the second round are much better. Even though there's more edge guys, the ones that I scouted, I really didn't like. I like Miles, my J Sanders, but there's a chance he goes in the first. That Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State, I did not come across very impressed. Drake Jackson, tons of these guys, these edge guys, but
Boye Mafe.
I just Boye Mafe. But listen, he only played 40% of the snaps. Why? I mean, he was productive when he was on the field. Plus, it's not the biggest school. I mean, all these guys have questions. I think at best you can pencil a couple of these guys into like third and longs, pass
Mhm.
rushing. But none of these guys really at the beginning of the second. You're looking at full time. You're just not going to get a full time edge guy there.
Yeah,
Where
they
there's a
just be
couple
pass rush
guys,
specialists.
Roger McCreary, Kyler Gordon. I mean, there's just a bunch of these cornerbacks that I think you could pencil in day one and count on them to be a
yeah,
starter
no,
on your
I agree
defense.
there. I mean,
And
I know he plays safety, but I mean, you could also look at Petrie in the second round too.
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah.
I
The
mean, I
safeties are
think,
amazing in the second, man.
yeah.
Jaquan Brisker might be the best
Ooh,
player in his draft before it's said and done.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why honestly, like, if he could stay healthy and if we can get his rookie season, Stingley to me, man, I think would have a better career than Sauce Gardner. I'm gonna just say it. If he could just stay healthy, and if we're getting the guy from his rookie season, which is not a guarantee, it's not, but I think that he could really be a very good player in this league. So can Sauce, and I think that Sauce Gardner would fit very well in Wink's defense. I just I've been saying it, man. I mean, you also heard reports of Wink putting Aaron Robinson on the outside on 7-on-7s. I mean, I like to see that. I thought he did pretty okay last year for where we drafted him. I don't think our secondary is as bad as some people believe it is. That's why I really want an edge rusher. So I mean, I think that honestly, it's going to come down to either Sauce or Kayvon.
I
And
mean,
if we
if you're
took
gonna
Sauce,
do
I'm not
edge
going
this
to disagree.
draft, take him early. Take him with that 7 pick, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
That would
the
be my
top edge
advice.
rushers, top edge rushers seem like they're more of a premium in the beginning, in the first round, and they're going to just a little bit of a drop off in the second round. But I mean, it's also in terms of the cornerback position, like you were just mentioning, Hit. what does this current regime think about the cornerbacks that are on this roster? I mean, is Aaron Robinson able to move outside and become a starter on the outside? Do they trust him enough to be able to play the outside cornerback position if they do move on from Bradbury? What is Rodarius Williams, Darnay Holmes, Jarrett Williams, who they just brought back? I mean, what do they think of these guys? Are these guys capable of, once they learn the Wink Martindale system, are they capable of being some guys you think can step up and maybe it makes cornerback not really that high of a position or a need? So you got to really think about, too, there's the evaluation of the players on this current roster and if what Wink Martindale and what Joe Shane and these guys really believe in them. So, I mean, that has a lot to do with it, too.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Robinson was built for this defense, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
He can press and he
absolutely.
likes man coverage, man. I think it'd be great for this defense.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
I think the kid has got a lot of potential, and I mean, if he plays in the slot or if he plays outside, this kid, I think he's gonna. I think he's actually my guy who I think is gonna take the biggest step forward. Is gonna be the breakout player on this team. I think Aaron Robinson is ready to break out on this team.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I think that Aaron Robinson, he could be one of those players that has a very good year going forward. I think that Wayne could use him in a variety of different ways. I mean, he could play in the slot, he could play outside. I mean, I thought that he did fairly solid for us. And I also see that Gio West disappeared on us, but that's all good, man.
I'm just gonna make a quick update on the Nets game. They're doing what they did the first two games. They're turning the ball over. They look like
Yep.
crap right now. It's a
Yep.
mess.
I
So
got it playing
they're
on
down.
my other screen. So
Yeah, I'm
believe me,
trying
I
not
know.
to get. I'm trying not to get angry, but just watching this garbage for another night is just like it's starting to get my blood to boil again because this team is just. I mean, the Giants have been bad for the few years, but you would know, being a longtime Nets fan, this team is like torture sometimes.
Oh
Watching
God,
them
it's
play
like they
basketball.
they get your hopes up. You think that we got something going, and then it's just like kind of
I didn't
similar
know
to the
Nets had
Giants.
fans. When did
Nah,
that
Oh
it's
yeah,
happen?
no, we're
yeah,
there. We're
yeah.
there.
I'm the real Nets fans. It's a minority, but
Yeah,
yeah, nah, it's like they're one of those teams similar to the Giants. They'll give you ways. They think that oh, this is gonna be a good season. Wow, this is gonna be a good season, and then they find different ways to lose, and it just shocks you every time. Like it's
yeah.
I'm
every time
a
it's just different, and it's like wow.
I'm a Knicks fan,
They,
so I lived that completely this year. We all thought we were going to be good.
yeah,
Bing
but you
bong
guys,
it.
yeah, but you guys have been bad for years, and you guys weren't expected to be a potential championship team. The Nets were picked by everybody to be a championship level team, and this team has done nothing but just distraction after distraction after distraction, injuries, Kyrie's mandate issue. It's just Ben Simmons now. He's looking like
Yeah.
a hippie out there with his outfit. It's this team. Just everything they do is just a
I did not want
distraction. And
Kyrie. All the Knicks fans
it,
were yelling for him. I did not want that head case on the Knicks, man. I'm so glad he never went there.
Nah, I'm a very big fan of Kyrie, so I mean, I'm
Yeah,
very
you can
glad
be
that
a
the
fan all you
Giants got
want.
him. No, I know. I was very happy when the Nets got him. When we got Harden, personally, I liked it, but I didn't think it was gonna work.
mhm.
I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I thought that we could have gotten more depth pieces. I actually liked our lineup that we had at the time.
No, I
I
did
thought that
too.
those could be players that you build up and go. And then you look where they're at now. I mean, shoot, look at Jared Allen.
Look at
I
Yeah, that was a
mean,
Harris
mistake
Levert.
letting him go,
Look at
man.
Dinwiddie.
but exactly. So it's like, again, they're one of those teams where it's like I love them to death, but for me, like I gotta watch them in intervals
Come
because it's like
on.
I deal with what the Giants put me through, and then it's like you combine that with with the Nets. I'm telling you, dog, it's like I'm getting jumped.
That's one of the
I'm
players
just
I
gonna.
wanted for my Knicks. I wanted Dinwiddie on the Knicks somehow, some
I
way. He's
love
one of the players
Dinwiddie.
I've been staring at. Jalen
It's
Brunson's another one.
bonkers.
I'm just gonna say right now, there's something wrong. Durant is not Durant right now because this guy is clearly just off his game. I don't know what it is right now, but something psychologically is just not. Something's wrong with Durant. He's just making bad turnovers. He's not make. He's missing all his shots. Something's definitely not clicking right now with Durant. I mean, I don't know
Yeah, and
he's
I
been
see that
off.
too.
He just seems completely off right now, and that's
Might
the
have
biggest reason right there why this team is losing this series. Is
must have
I
had a
think
Twitter
this.
spat.
Yeah, it could be. And that's the problem. I think the Celtics are playing more like a team and they're being coached well like a team, whereas the Nets, They're just playing more like an individual basketball team, trying to do a lot of one-on-one play while the Celtics are finding their teammates. They're switching off on defense. They're switching off on guys on the defensive end. They're trying to take Durant and Irving out of the game and trying to make some of these other
And it's
guys beat
working.
them. And it's
It's
working,
working.
yeah, because there's nobody on this team right now that can buy a bucket, and that's the problem. The Celtics are just
But
they're dominating this team in the inside, and Nash is not making adjustments.
yeah, no, and I agree. I personally have been saying that when we got Nash at first, I was like, okay, I'm open to it. I just felt that that wasn't the right hire. I didn't understand how that works with KD and Kevin Durant. So, I mean, if you're asking me, man, I
A
think that
puppet. They want a
yeah,
puppet. They
exactly,
don't
yeah,
want Atkinson in his hard nosed, old school type basketball attitude. So they wanted a guy where they could a puppet that they could direct around and tell and pretend he's the coach, but in reality, you know who the coaches are? Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. That's who the coaches are of this team.
yeah, and
Not
you know
Steve
what?
Nash.
On the topic of that Blue City, because he says he's talking about Simmons not playing today. Um, Look, I'm gonna say this much, man. I actually think that a guy like Simmons helps out Kevin Durant a lot. I'm gonna just be real. I think that that's a guy that could really help out Kevin Durant. But problem is that he hasn't played in over a year.
Yeah. And who even knows
And
where
it
his head is psychologically.
where is his confidence at? Where is he at? As a player,
Man,
where's he at health
Philly
wise?
fans roasted his balls off.
Exactly,
Oh my
dog.
god,
It
yeah.
was a shit show. So, but look,
Can anybody blame him too though? I
I
can't.
nah, I can't. Nah, I mean, cause low key, Jeff and I are giving this man shit. So, Miz, what's going on, brother? How you doing, dog? Um,
What's
but
up, Miz?
look, y'all. I gotta head out. So we are going to end the stream here. Giant Opinion, Jeff, Big Blue Corner, Lou, um, JLA 90. I appreciate you guys jumping on the panel. I know it was last minute, but this was a very good stream. I love the energy. But at the end of the day, we all want the same thing with our team. We want to get back to the promised land. We want to see this team be a winning team and have a winning culture. And again, I'm gonna just state this again, it's voluntary. But Jeff, Giant Opinion, do you guys want to say anything else before we let the people go?
Hopefully, we
I
got
mean,
something else to talk about other than some young kid missing missing a voluntary camp here soon. Well, we have the draft in 5 days, so that'll keep us
Yeah,
busy for probably a month, and then we got that other month and a half of dead time. So
I
yeah,
mean,
you
yeah,
think
one dead
we'll
chunk.
definitely see because hopefully that's what we're hoping for. I mean, and we got the draft in 5 days. We're gonna be doing some pretty cool shit for the draft, so you guys already know. Come to the channel. We guys got you covered. And I really can't wait because we're gonna get a lot of answers as to where this team is headed once the draft comes. But you guys can find Giant Opinion Sports, Jeff, Big Blue Corner, G Nation. You can find their links in the description below. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Join the Hit Squad, and we will see you guys on the next video.